Hey everybody, it's Nate from Echo City Music Lab. Today I'm doing a tutorial for I Don't Wanna Be You Anymore by Billie Eilish. I've taught this a bunch of times to students over the last few years, and I always enjoy working on it. It's got a really elegant piano part, so I figured it'd be fun to make a video. Here we go. Let's start out by learning the chords for the verse. There's a link to a chords and lyrics chart down in the description. I recommend getting that to follow along. I made it so all the chords line up with the words you're singing. Just a quick note, the song is in the key of G, so that's just basically all white keys except for F's are sharped. The first chord we got is a C major 7. So that is a C, a E, a G, and a B. We're going to break that out between the two hands though. So we're going to do a bass note on C in the left hand, starting on the second finger. It's going to work out nicely that way. And then we're doing the E, G, and B in the right hand. So it's kind of like you're doing an E minor chord in the right hand and a C bass note. The next chord is a G major 7. That's got a G, a B, a D, and an F sharp in it. Once again, we're going to break that out. The left hand's going to do the G with the pinky here, and the right hand's going to do the B, D, and F sharp. Once again, notice this is a G bass note with essentially a B minor chord in the right hand. One way to think about major 7 chords is it's like a major chord with a minor chord starting on the third, the second note of the chord. One more chord gets us most of the way there. It's an A minor 7 chord. Once again, we're going to break it out. The left hand's going to do an A with the fourth finger just to keep that hand position consistent, and the right hand's doing C, E, and G. This is a minor 7 chord. Notice the idea is kind of flipped. We've got an A bass note here. You can think of an A minor chord, but then building a major chord off of the third of that chord. So it's basically a C major chord in the right hand with the A bass note. So for the chord progression, we've got that C major 7, then the G major 7, up to the A minor 7, and then it goes back to the G major 7. And the second time around, instead of going back to the G major 7, we're going to do a D chord. That's D, F sharp, and A. And then, just as a little bit of a variation, we're going to step up to a D sus4 chord. So same chord, except for instead of the F sharp there, we step up to a G. I use my fourth finger there. So, and then step up, and then we're just going to take it right back to the D major. And for the purposes of this tutorial, we're going to think about this song in 6/8 time. So every measure gets 6 counts, and most of these chords are lasting 2 measures. And I'm going to hit the chords on beats 1 and beat 4. So like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not to make things too complicated, but you could count this song in 4/4 time. In fact, it might feel natural to do that. But some of the extra piano parts and arpeggios we're also going to learn fall right on the beats if you're counting in 6/8 time. So getting the rhythms on those parts will be a little easier if we're already thinking of it in 6/8.
So I'm sitting here editing this video, and I realized that, well, it's good to think of it in 6 for the piano parts we're going to learn. It means that every chord in the song lasts for 2 measures if we're counting it fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it looked terrible on the screen to write out 2 measures in small font for every single chord. I thought that it would just be annoying for you to look at, so I'm keeping it 1 measure on the screen per chord. So if I say 2 measures and you only see 1 measure, that's why. Sorry if that's confusing. It seemed like the best solution.
Don't be that way, fall apart twice a day. I just wish you could feel what you say. Show, never tell, but I know you too well. Kind of mood that you wish you could sell. So for that D chord, of the 4 times I hit the chord, the first one was a regular D major, then just 1 hit on the D sus4, and then back for the final 2 on the regular D major. Before we do the chorus, let's talk about a couple other piano part details for this verse. One of the coolest piano details in this song is this little descending melody that happens on the C major 7 chord. We're just going to step down thirds. A third is an interval like 1, 2, 3. Chords are kind of made out of stacked thirds. It's just a really nice, pretty sounding harmony. and we're stepping down those thirds in the key of G that we're in, so the F is sharped. Basically, you've set up by just being in the position playing the chord. Then you're going to do 3 and 5 together, then step down to 2 and 4, so your second finger on the F sharp, and then 1 and 3 on the C and the G. You can practice that a few times just so your finger muscles get used to it. We're going to place those on counts 4, 5, and 6 of the second measure that we're on that chord. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're on to the next chord. The last thing I'll say about this moment is it's a little hard to figure out how to sing it while playing that. And you can just break it down to how the words match up with it. So let's take the first line, for example. Don't be that way. Fall apart. So the top third hits without a word, and then we've got fall part happens afterwards. Fall apart. And it's the same idea every time it comes up. The second time it comes around in that verse, show, never tell, but I know. So again, nothing on the top one, that's by itself, and then, but I. And if you can get that down for the first verse, the times it happens in the second verse with different words should feel natural at that point. Also, throughout the piano part on the studio recording of this, the piano does some kind of things that sound a little bit improvised. I'm not going to go into detail on every one of these moments, but you can kind of play around with it a little bit, just adding some loose arpeggios on the chords, like especially this G major 7 here. Last thing I want to mention is to mimic the bass on the recording. When it turns around, so you're halfway through the verse, you just landed on G major 7 and you're going to go back up to C major 7. You can do a little walk up in the left hand. So you just hit the A and the B between it. So I just wish you could feel what you say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, show. Like that. Let's learn the chorus. It starts off with the same chord progression, but then it adds one extra chord that actually steps outside the key a little bit, and that's B7. Left hand's gonna do a B, right hand's gonna do a D sharp, F sharp, and A. If teardrops could be bottled, there'd be swimming pools filled by models, told that tight dress is what makes you a whore. If I loved you. So rhythmically, the piano part for those first chords is the same in that the chords are hitting on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Still hitting on 1 and 4, but it sounds a lot different because you're really going to just hold out that first one, and then that second chord on beat 4 is just a staccato stab, and you kind of just let it be complete silence for the 5 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can really kind of accent that second staccato hit. And that happens for the first 3 chords. And then for the B7, you just kind of build it up. I'm hitting on every single count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. I guess I'm kind of accenting the 1 and 4 a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got the sustain pedal down to kind of smooth that together. Second time around, instead of the B7, it's going to hit that D sus4 D thing. I'm going to do the same rhythm I did on the B. If I love you was a promise, would you break it if you're honest? Tell the mirror what you know she's heard before. And the final moment adds one more chord, and we'll take this in a couple different difficulty levels. It's an E minor chord, so just E, G, and B. And so this is the I don't wanna be you anymore. And it stays on that E minor zone for 4 measures before going back to a verse. And on the chord chart, I wrote E minor add 9. So the 9th is, well, from E 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's F sharp here. That's a really big stretch to make. So we're going to take out this E because the left hand's doing that E. We don't need to hear it twice. Then we can do it thumb on G, second finger on B, pinky hits the F sharp. And then there's this little arpeggio that happens on E, B, G, E, B, G. So the first two measures of this little 4-measure E minor break before it goes to the verse is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can just do that twice, or you can add a little bit more melody the second time around where it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that was just from that F sharp, stepping up to G and back to the F sharp before hitting the 1, dun, 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 dun. And here's what the full advanced version of this section is going to sound like. And that's kind of a combination between the piano and the electric guitar that you hear on the official studio recording. If you want to keep it simpler, you can still do that arpeggio rhythm just on that first E minor we looked at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, dun, dun, dun. And I think that still sounds really good. Okay, so there's nothing new to learn in terms of the chords. The piano part gets a little bit more involved on the second verse, but let me just say that what we just established doing in the first verse will work fine for the rest of the song. But if you want to kick it up a notch here, you can do something like, hands getting cold, losing feelings, getting old, was I made? And to do that, you're basically just splitting the right hand chord up into two parts, the top two notes and the bottom note. So for the C major 7, that's the G and B and the C. You're doing a hit on either one of those on every single count of the measure. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So top, bottom, top, top, bottom, bottom. So one top, one bottom, two tops, two bottoms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that descending melody fits right in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. So when I do the full cover, I'm going to be messing around with that piano part. A little bit of extra stuff on the second chorus. It starts the same way. If teardrops could be bottled, there'd be swimming pools, bottles, and a tight dress is what makes you a whole. So we get to that B7. We just did it real fast. And then it does that rhythm we were talking about in the first chorus, but then it continues it. Love you was a promise. So once you get past the B7 in the second chorus, you can keep doing that rhythm for the first half of each measure. So what I mean is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just adds a little bit of extra energy for the final chorus on the recording. The drums are doing those hits too. It sounds really cool. And that continues for that whole chord progression for that second half of the last chorus until you get to the D sus4 D part, in which case I'm just gonna do all the hits. And then we get to I don't wanna be you. So notice this is another good place to just improvise a little bit with some extra arpeggio notes in the right hand. Be you. The very final time, just holding it. Wanna be you anymore. So for the final moment of the song, gonna hit that E minor add 9 that we looked at earlier. So left hand E, right hand G, B, F sharp, but we're just hitting it once and letting it ring out. It's how the song ends. It's kind of an intriguing note to end the song on. All right, cool. So we've touched on everything. I'm now going to do a full cover so you can see how it all fits together. Thanks for watching. I'd appreciate it if you subscribe, turn on the notifications so you know when I put out these videos, and let me know in the comments if you have any requests. All right, here's my version of I Don't Wanna Be You Anymore. Don't be that way, fall apart twice a day. I just wish you could feel what you say. Show, never tell, but I know you too well. Kind of mood that you wish you could sell. If teardrops could be bottled, there'd be swimming pools filled by models, told that tight dress is what makes you a whore. If I love you was a promise, would you break it? If you're honest, tell the mirror what you know she's heard before. I don't wanna be you anymore. Hands getting cold, losing feelings, getting old. Was I made from a broken mold? Hurt I can't shake, we've made every mistake. Only you know the way that I break. If teardrops could be bottled, there'd be swimming pools filled by models, told that tight dress is what makes you a whore. If I loved you was a promise, would you break it? If you're honest, told the mirror what you know